If you are watching this video, that means that you understand the strategy FAT-P. So let's move on to the next part. So number 1, you read the prompt and you did FAT-P. Now we're to number 3, where we set up the plan. Read the article and then add to your plan. So there's not really an article attached to any of these prompts. They're just fake ones. But I am going to show you step number 3, how to set up your plan. We'll kind of pretend to read an article, and I'll show you how you can add information as you read the article number 5. So you'll be able to organize your ideas for writing, and you know you'll have it when you can write down your ideas for the introduction, body, and conclusion of your writing. So this should look really familiar. This is a prompt we did with FAT-P, and it's all about life in other countries and people who live in Africa. So you can tell by the FAT-P we're writing an essay. There's a test reader. The topic is why I don't want to live in Africa. And then my purpose is to inform my audience. So the next step we're going to do is come up with a very basic plan. It shouldn't take us very long to set it up. And what we're going to do is set up our paper into 3 sections, because as you can tell it says to make sure you include an introduction, a body, and a conclusion in your essay. And then it's all about, if you notice the bullet points, it's all about those and what we can do to, how we can add those to our writing. Okay? So as you can see right here, we're going to focus on these bullet points and separate our writing into 3 parts. All right, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is split my paper into 3 parts. Just watch, you're not going to do this part. So I split it into 3 areas. I have an introduction, I have a body, and I have a conclusion. So for my introduction, what I would do is maybe write 1 to 2 sentences of how I'm going to introduce my essay. For my conclusion, again, this is just the planning part. I might jot down a sentence or 2 about how I'm going to conclude or wrap up my essay. What I'm going to show you is how to plan the middle part, the body of your essay, because the body is the meat of your essay or your writing prompt. It's where most of your information will go. So what I'm going to do, however many bullet points there are, that's how many boxes I'm going to put in the body of my plan. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just back up. And I'm going to look at my bullets again. So again, I'm looking at my bullet points, and it says be sure to add a description of how and where the people live, a description of their customs and how they make a living, and then why or why not I would want to live in that country. I've already split it into introduction, body, conclusion. So if I take away that part, I have 3 bullet points that I need to write about. All right. So here we go with my 3 bullet points. So again, I have my introduction, I have my conclusion. For my body, I have 3 bullet points, so I'm going to make 3 boxes. And then I'm going to title my 3 boxes. Here we go. The top of my 3 boxes, so right here, is where I'm going to kind of put the title of each of my bullet points. So those 3 bullet points we talked about, I'm going to put the title in each one of those. Okay? So let's go back here. So right here, my 3 bullet points. My first one says how and where the people live. Second one is customs and how they make a living. And then my last one is why or why I would not live in that country. Okay, so the first one is how and where the people live. Second, customs, living, and why or why not I would want to live in that country. So let's go back to my plan. Again, I have introduction, oops, body, conclusion. I have my 3 boxes. And now I'm going to put titles. So my first one was all about people of Africa. My second one was all about customs. And my last one is if I would live there or not. Okay? So I'm going to put live question mark. So at this point, what I would do is go back in my article. Obviously, there's not one for this one, but I would read my article on Africa, and anytime I saw a really important piece or part of the article that talked about the people in Africa and how they lived, I would make a bullet point and add that information. So add. Anytime that I'm going through my article and I see anything about customs, so like their traditions, maybe their holidays, I'm going to add it under customs. Then finally, as I'm reading the article, I'm going to have in my mind, would I live there or not? So let's say while I'm reading, I decide to myself, you know what, I really think I would live there. Right here under my title, Live, I'm going to put all the reasons why I would live in Africa. So there's my plan. Introduction, remember 1 to 2 sentences. My conclusion, maybe a sentence or 2. And then my middle part is my body. So each of these boxes is a different paragraph once I go read or write my essay. Okay, so here I have 1 paragraph. Here I have a paragraph. Here I have a paragraph. Here I have a paragraph. And then I end with a paragraph. Right there, I just planned out the 5 paragraphs I'm going to write for my essay. Okay? All right. So next one, here we go. This next one, I am writing a letter to the future president about how the U.S. should celebrate its 250th birthday. And I'm going to inform or persuade him. I'm actually going to just inform him. So we decided the last time we did Fat P that inform was a lot more evident than persuading. So I'm definitely going to inform him. All right, so if I'm already looking at my bullet points right here, I'm going to plan my 3 parts, introduction, body, conclusion. And I see that I have 2 bullet points. Okay, so my first bullet point, that's my first box. And for my second bullet point, I can actually make 2 boxes because it talks about how the U.S. celebrating its birthday for 250th and for its 200th and how it's similar, how it's different. So I'm ready to plan out my writing prompt. This time you're going to do it along with me. Okay, so you are going to do it with me this time. So here I go. I'm going to go into 3 sections. Here's my introduction. Remember, 1 to 2 sentences. Here's my conclusion. Again, 1 to 2 sentences. My body, I decided I'm going to write 3 boxes. I'm looking at the bullet points. So in my first box, I'm writing a brief description of the 200th birthday celebration. So right here, I could write the title, description. Okay? In my second box, I'm going to say how my ideas and how the 200th birthday, how were they the same? And I'm also going to talk about how they were different. So in my first box, I'm writing about the description. The second box, I'm writing how the 250th that I'm going to suggest and 200th are the same. My final box, I'm going to write all about how they're different. So again, I'm going to read my fake article. And as I go through, I'm going to add anything under description. I'm going to put bullet points. then how are they the same? Again, I'm going to put in my box that's the same, and I'm going to put ones that are different in this box. Again, one paragraph. Here's another paragraph, here's another paragraph, and another paragraph, and another one. And I've already planned my 5 paragraphs that I can write on my letter, on my writing prompt. All right. So this next one, the paper in front of you, you are going to do completely on your own. So this one's all about child labor. We're writing an essay all about why child labor should be ended worldwide, and we're trying to persuade solutions, possible solutions for the child labor problem. So again, we're writing a persuasive essay on explaining why child labor should be ended and giving possible solutions. So you're going to look at the bullet points, and on your paper, you're going to separate your paper into introduction, body, conclusion, and go ahead and put the boxes for the body and what would be the titles. So go ahead now and do it on your own. All right, right here, you are going to check your answers again. You're going to pause the video, grab a colored pencil on either the west or east counter, and the next slide will give you the answers to the last plan you're supposed to complete on your own. Again, please use honesty. So with your colored pencil, make any corrections. You are not erasing anything you wrote. I want to see what you did in pencil and the corrections in colored pencil. When you're done, you're going to take your corrected paper to Mrs. Turner. So here you go. Here's your basic plan that you should have written. Introduction, body, conclusion. And for the middle part, the body, the first box were all about reasons child labor should end. And then you could have done this a couple different ways. You could have either had a box for one solution and details, or you could have had, and then a second box with a different solution and bullet points. You could have had one box that just said solutions with a bunch of different bullet points. So take your corrected paper to Mrs. Turner and she will give you feedback on how to improve it or if you did it correctly.